the prediction from Ivan Yates a couple of weeks ago was that Sinn Féin is going to win 70 seats. The reason that they're going to win 70 seats is because the under 40s have abandoned Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, and the reason that they have abandoned Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael is because you failed to get them houses.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily agree with Ivan on that at all. And I think, first of all, I need to be very careful of projections, because the last 3 general elections, the opinion polls were about 10% out, a year out. So I think there's far too much emphasis on opinion polls in terms of how they dictate the narrative on political analysis.
But Ivan is saying that he gets some of this from having worked with Fianna Fáil and has therefore seen behind the curtain.
Well, then he knows how strong we are, and he knows how strong our candidates on the ground are. And we're the largest political party at local government level, for example, and have been despite all of the opinion polls prior to those local elections. And we're going into local elections that will be very challenging. But we have very strong people rooted in the community, embedded in the community, and who work very hard, and people do respond to that. And
are you disappointed you didn't get a bounce off the budget?
Well, you see, you're back to opinion polls again. I mean, you won't
well,
know
they
until...
do matter, Tánaiste. You can't say, well, we just stick our head in the sand for 5 years and then give it a shot.
What I'm saying is we need to have far more analysis on the methodologies behind those polls, and in terms of the degree to which they conform with European standards, and the degree to which they dominate political narrative. I think they overly dominate.
No, separating out the two.
I don't want to be I mean, that's natural.
Let me ask you, separating out the two. Whatever about the domination of the narrative, were they accurate? They could dominate the narrative and you would say that it'd be fine. Are you saying that fundamentally you look at opinion polls and think, nah, yous have it wrong, lads, we're much better than you say?
I've said that for a good long time. I mean, in 2016, the opinion polls would have been giving Fianna Fáil 33 seats. I think we got 45. But the problem with that then is that all the questions I was getting 6 months before that general election was, are you going in with, will you be the junior partner to Fine Gael, will you be this? And people were looking at it through the lens of the opinion poll alone. They weren't looking at as much true policy or substance. So inevitably, when I'm having a discussion with you here, it's not about the substance, it's about who's up, who's down, how many seats will you get, how many seats will the other crowd get, what are you going to do afterwards?
Well, hang on, the opening question to this was, Ivan Yates says this is who's up and who's down, and the reason why is because you failed to provide
let's now deal
houses.
with that. I mean, the bottom line is Fianna Fáil are in government for the last 3 years now, and we've made a big difference on housing. But it's not enough. We've got to do more. And over 30,000 houses were constructed last year. COVID did hit us with the 2 lockdowns, but the momentum is really there now in terms of house construction. In terms of social housing, we are building more social houses and delivering more social houses now than we did for decades as a country. And the last 3 years has shown a distinctive change and in respect of social housing alone. There are 22,000 social houses now, either on site, at design, at planning stage. That's on top of the 30,000 we've delivered already.
It's
in
very
3
difficult,
years.
I assume, though, Tánaiste, to sell on the doorsteps that we haven't solved your problem, but we've at least started on the long road to it. That's a hard sell.
Well, it's more than that. I think there's a significant increased housing has been made available. The schemes around affordability in particular, the expanded Help to Buy scheme, the First Home scheme is proving very, very popular. The vacant housing and derelict schemes, where you have grants now of up to 50,000 for vacant and 70,000 for a derelict, to refurbish them and to live in them. I mean, they're very popular, and they're really and people are applying. And people are, I mean, the 500 first-time buyers now every week.
Okay, so you talk about the only being at this. You talk about being at this for 3 years. What then do you think was the sea change that Fianna Fáil's entry into government brought about in the manner in which we provide housing?
Well, first of all, we sought out housing. As a party, we said we want to deal with the housing brief.
As did Fine Gael, as did the opposition.
We sought out housing and we went at it. I think at structural level, the formation of a cabinet subcommittee was very important. Having key government departments meeting regularly, the development of the Housing for All plan, and constantly reviewing it. And to be fair, the allocation of sufficient capital monies to get behind it.
You don't think there would have been a cabinet subcommittee had you not gone into government? You don't think there would have been capital monies?
Well, we have changed the modus operandi of government over the last 3 years, insofar as the number of cabinet committees we've developed, not just on housing, but in other areas. And I think that structurally has been important. I think Darragh O'Brien has given it great energy in respect of his commitment to it. And the government as a whole has. All government departments the 3 parties said housing, health, climate are three key aspects of government policy, and housing obviously is the number one social priority of our time. We acknowledge that, and it is very difficult for young people out there. They can get very annoyed. I understand it fully in respect of the ability to afford housing. And we've been focused on affordability and on getting more houses built, because ultimately that is it. We have to get more built.